So here I am in the back seat of a Mini, not the updated Mini of today built by BMW, but an original style 1968 Morris Mini Minor built by the British car builder Aston Martin. We're cruising the back roads of King City in a typical Canadian winter storm. The snow is coming down, a cold wind is blowing, and the road is drifting over. My friend Doug is sitting beside me in the back seat of the car. Between us is our case of beer, a 24 of Molson's Export in the old-style stubby bottles. Tom is in the front passenger seat and Will is driving. We are all best buddies and hang around together all the time. Tonight, we're smoking joints, drinking beer, and cruising the back roads. What better way is there to spend a winter night for a group of teenagers in the early 70s? As we drove further north, the weather was getting worse, but we didn't care. In fact, we were having a good time. We had been in storms like this many times before. If you're dressed properly, a warm coat with a hood, warm boots, gloves and a hat, you would be fine. We were also in Will's Mini. The Mini had front-wheel drive and never got stuck. It had a flat bottom just like a toboggan. If the car hit a snowdrift, it would slide right over top of it and keep on going. If the unlikely happened, and we got stuck, the four of us could easily push it out. The Mini was a small car, and it was light in weight, and the four of us were young and strong. As time went by and a few beers went down, the weather got worse. The blowing snow was creating whiteout conditions. We were about to turn back when someone sitting up front asked, "What is that up ahead?" "It looks like a light up there." Through the blowing snow we could see a dim light on the top of a hill about 100 yards away. From where we sat in the car, we could not tell what it might be. It was too far away. So of course, being curious and having nothing better to do, we had to go investigate the strange light. We loaded our coats with beers, and off we trudged through the storm. As we got closer, we could see it was a van stuck in the snow on the top of the hill. The light we saw was the interior dome light. As we got closer still, we could see there was a family in the van. A man, woman, and two kids sitting alone in a van, on the top of a hill, in the middle of a winter storm, miles from anywhere. "Do you need some help?" we yelled to the van over the sound of the blowing wind. He yelled back through his window, "No, we're okay." He was afraid of us, and I don't blame him. He had the safety of his family to think of first. What would you think if you were in his situation? Stuck in the snow in the middle of nowhere, and out of the dark and blowing snow came four strange-looking characters drinking beer and carrying on. You might be a little nervous too. There was a shovel in the snow in front of the van. It looked like the man had been shoveling earlier but had given up. The family was sitting inside the van keeping warm with the heat on and the engine idling. They were hoping they had enough fuel to last. My question is, last until when? If they ran out of fuel in the night and the engine stalled, they would have no heat and could very easily freeze to death. We decided we were going to help them, with the four of us working at removing the snow from around the van, and a little pushing. It didn't take long until we got them moving. The entire time we worked to get them dug out, they stayed locked inside their van. They were scared. They had no idea who we were, or what we might do. We didn't care. We were going to rescue them, whether they wanted to be rescued or not. We got them moving again in no time. The last we saw of that van was its taillights disappearing down the hill into the storm. They didn't even say thank you, or retrieve their shovel. We walked back to the Mini and drove home. To this very day I am convinced we saved that family's lives. They were stuck in the middle of nowhere, miles from any shelter, in a vicious winter storm with freezing temperatures. I wonder if out there somewhere there are some people telling a story about a cold stormy night in the middle of nowhere. It might go something like this. Mom, Dad, and the kids were all in the van and it got stuck in a snowdrift. Dad was doing just fine, digging us out, when a bunch of crazy beer-drinking teenagers came along and tried to take over. Dad would have none of that. He put them in their place. He put them to work. He took complete control of the situation. He got those kids to push us out. Oh yeah, now I remember. They stole my shovel.